Warheads, and welcome to The League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Battle Mistress Sivir, who was released February 21st, 2009. One of the OGs. Also, Mark, did you just spill beer all over yourself while you were drinking?
Did I? If I did, I didn't notice it. Am I just like covered and I'm just not realizing it?
No. You had started taking a sip, and then I started the intro, and you had like this little brief moment of, oh god, hurry up. I thought maybe you spilled some.
It's like the lights turning yellow, right? And it's like, you'll probably make it through. It's fine.
You know when the light's yellow and you got your beer in your hand in the car?
Yeah, right.
You gotta finish it real quick.
No, I'm good.
But yeah,
Sivir.
Mm-hmm. What's Sivir sound like?
That was good. Yeah, that's a good question. It's always a good question. She sounds like nice try when she blocks an ability with her spell shield.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I never hear that one.
I hear it from the enemy team a lot.
Yeah. When John plays her, he's really good at blocking things. That is just woof. I will never be good at that. I don't know what it is. That's why I never build a Pexels. Do you want me to clear CC off you?
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, what is she just sounds like she has such a deep voice, and I can't.
It's like that deep, sexy voice.
And okay, I'll try to do a deep, sexy voice.
All right, deep, sexy. Let's hear it.
It's not stealing if they're dead.
I think that's exactly how that line sounds.
Really?
I don't play
Heroes
a lot of Heroes
go hungry.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't really... Mark's got a half you see over there.
Like wipe off the monitor or some shit like that. Well, no.
Yeah, I don't really play much Sivir. ARAM.
And I always have my voices so low in ARAM.
I know. I'm trying to turn them up more.
I didn't even know she had voice lines for that shit. The only voice lines I know are the Kaisa ones where she yells at me for missing skill shots. Somehow those always cut through.
Those really, they're a little louder. I think the team knew to kick them up a notch. Really make you feel bad.
Negative reinforcement, right?
Is this an updated voice for her? Do you know when this one? Yeah. Is this when they originally redid her splash art?
I think it's when I think it was during her kind of rework type era, but yeah, her old voice was a different one.
Do we know why they redid her splash art again recently? Because this is really throwing me off. I had no idea this was coming, and very suddenly it was different. And I'm like, of all the people, I feel like...
I don't know. I guess, to be fair, I'm not even sure which splash we're actively talking about now. I've just got various images of Sivir.
There's a very new one.
Is it the one that's like, okay, I think I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, it's good.
It's not the one where she's bent over, right?
I think that's the middle rework one, right?
No, this is the new one. The new one.
I wonder if it had to do with her Legends of Runeterra release.
Maybe.
You think so? God, she does have so many different...
But she doesn't look different in her Runeterra card art. It's not like Nidalee. Like Nidalee's a really good example where Runeterra design is going to become in-game design whenever Riot decides to pull that trigger.
It's gonna look cool as hell.
By the way. Oh my god, yes.
So good.
Sivir is like, what's happening? I don't know.
Can't believe we redid the fucking Nidalee revisit episode right before she got that shit.
They knew. And
right before they released a song canonizing the relationship between her and Nico. Come on, man.
Riot's punishing us for being so hard on Nidalee. It's like we got a monkey pod on that one.
At all these Sivir splashes, and someone made her weapon a fidget spinner.
Hey.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Very good.
Just thought I'd share that.
I'm curious if that means that they plan on doing something with her.
Yeah, it seemed very strange.
Because the style, and I mean, I don't want to say it, but the style looks kind of similar to how they did the arcane skins for each of the champions, like the visual style. So I mean, like season 2 arcane Sivir.
I don't think so.
We going to Shurima?
I mean,
could you imagine
Shurima?
Okay, look. Here's the thing. I spent all my time not taking notes. I spent all my time racking my fucking brain figuring out what do you do with Sivir because she is so weighted down by Azir and Xerath.
Yeah.
So I've got in my head. I have
boring.
season 1 Sivir in my fucking brain. It's the only thing I thought about. It was the whole fucking time. But I don't know. You know, it's weird to me that they would release new base splash when she's got She's got some really bad skin splashes still kicking around in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
We
could
really,
touch those
really
real
good.
quick.
Do you remember there was that period of time where like we just decided like, you know what, Tencent actually has cooler splash for some of these champions, so
Oh,
we just
yeah.
pulled a bunch of their art,
Yeah.
and there was just this wild like difference. They have like super kind of like anime style
Yes.
artwork splashes.
Yeah.
And that's still the case.
We probably still have a couple of those kicking around.
She has them. The fucking.
Well, yeah.
I mean, case in fucking point, right? Like
That's the
Xena
one I
skin
use in game
especially.
all the time, for the record.
You gotta pick the worst one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like,
to be
was that-
fair, it's
yeah.
like it's like, oh, this is really clashing. This is very disparate in its style. But then you look at what the old Splash looked like, and it's like, well, a little clash here and there is not so bad, right? You know,
At least there's a
pops.
background. She's not just standing in murky
Just in a
water.
Right. A little clash of fates.
God, she really is. It's just like smoke behind. Oh my god, these old splashes are fucking great. God damn.
They are. I know. Well, on the Riot Universe page, Sivir has her bio. 3 short stories are linked, which is wild. And concept art that looks newer, even though her old splash art is still at the top of her page.
And this is important to note. I think this may be the very first time we've had an AU short story actually linked on a Champions Universe page.
That's
Possible.
That's absolutely
Go
not
ahead.
true. Because I
Yeah.
know
What's
there have
the
been
other
high
one?
noon shits. There's been high noon stuff
I think
linked
so.
before for sure.
Yeah.
Really? For who?
I know I've
don't
read
fucking
one.
know.
So
I don't remember.
I know I send you
May-
random shit all the
It's
time
true,
too, where I'm like,
yeah.
hey, this isn't canon, but it's cool as hell. You should read it.
that's true.
I know there's been
Especially
other
with
ones. I
high
guess-
noon stuff.
You know what? You know what it probably is? Is it's probably fucking. There's some KDA shit linked on like a collie. I would bet.
Mm.
I would
guess.
bet KDA. I don't consider that AU though, because
It
that's
is,
that's
John.
our world.
No, it's
That's our real
Just
life
you.
world.
That's just universe. But yeah.
so
I mean,
League
it's
of
pretty
Legends.
rare.
That's the AU.
No, that's a different AU actually. That's the
No.
Warden AU.
I know, right? Fucking right. But it is rare. I didn't read it. Sorry.
It's
'Cause it's in
very
AU.
Lovecraftian
I think I remember talking about this.
for
some-
I think Pike probably, because
Yeah.
Pike is in it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Don't worry, I'll go over it.
We'll do,
I
we'll
reread
do
it.
a deep dive on Blood Moon at some point, and we'll get into it.
Yeah. There's a few AUs I'm pretty excited to do our post podcast deep dives on.
Our post podcasts. Oh,
It's
gosh.
still the same. Yeah, it's still the same. Like, it's not dying.
We'll be
right?
washed up husks of our former selves.
It's a beautiful butterfly of our former selves.
I hate thinking of honestly, we're gonna lose so many listeners when we're done with the album.
Y'all
You
won't.
guys will
Y'all
stick
won't
with
leave.
us, right?
Yeah, you're
Right?
fucking
You won't.
stuck here. All right, Sivir. I have
Yeah.
no notes, but I'm gonna try to piece this together. She was a normal girl in Shurima. Her parents are dead, obviously.
Obviously.
Line number
And
2, second
Right?
sentence.
They
Check-
didn't even
check it
really
off.
bother. How do you pronounce who
I
killed
don't
them?
fucking know, man.
Cathayans?
Cathayans.
Sure,
I like
yeah.
that. They're murdered by Cathayans. That kind of comes up. Well, I don't know. She deals with Cathayans in like her short story, but I don't think it really matters that much. Okay, so Sivir is like working for people, raiding tombs and stuff like that, just trying to find expensive shit to sell. She's not really getting any of the good stuff, though. And is this when she goes off on her own for the first time, or no?
I think
gets-
this is when she takes over her.
No, well, first she gets betrayed by her best friend.
They're like orphans.
That's
They're still
just-
like little chitlins.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
young.
yeah.
They're young. Yeah, and her
Right, right.
bestie, betrays her, and she vows to never let anyone stab her in the back.
She's writing in her journal, but I mean that metaphorically only.
Surely nobody would really do that.
Anyway,
Oh, man.
she is a part of some group at some point, and when she gets a little bit older, she's like, we could be doing a better job, and she overthrows the leader. I don't remember the leader's name. I don't know if you have a note on it.
Mira? Oh wait, no,
Yeah.
Mira's
Mira's
the person,
the person,
who
the kid who betrayed her.
Zaharo.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's what
She doesn't kill this old leader, just leaves her in the desert and it's like, peace out. I thought that was going to come back later. I don't think it does. Does it?
It doesn't. I assume
No.
it's like a little Schrodinger's like
I guess.
something.
Yeah.
It's floating around out there.
Schrodinger's LOR card.
Yeah. I guess Chekhov's might have been a better thing to reference, but whatever. Right.
Yeah,
That's true.
At this point, she gets hired by someone to find a weapon, and this is where she finds her blade. So it's nothing has ever quite fit in her hand this way, so she kills the people who hired her with it. With just one swing, they all just get decapitated. It's pretty sick. Right. She's like, bye.
Peace.
I forget what this thing is called.
Deuces.
Chalikar.
It's her boomerang.
Yeah, and the Chalaka.
Chalika.
You have to put proper reverence.
Chalika. I think at this point, she's got a bit of a rep, and Noxus has heard of her, so she is hired by Cassiopeia to go into a tomb. We've talked about this before. I genuinely forget what they were trying to find. And is that something to do with Mordekaiser? I don't remember what Cassiopeia was even fucking doing here.
Cassiopeia was
probably-
looking for some sort of artifact
Ascension
that was
related
supposed
shit,
to be.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think they were Black Rose was trying to figure out
Right.
Ascension.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Cassiopeia kills her, and but then she gets, cursed, turned into a snake. But Sivir, her blood, she's the last remaining heir to Azir. He had a bunch of kids running around. Before
Like
he
emperors do.
messed up, and her blood brings him back to life. Fuck you, Sarah, it's all your fault. He brings Shurima back, and she's like, oh, what the fuck, and she leaves. I didn't really like that part about her. She's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is cool. And she's like slowly backing away, finger guns, and she dips. She's like, this is way too much for me, I don't like this crap. Where do we kind of leave her? She crosses paths with Xerath, which we read a story about that. We'll talk about that again.
Which is interesting. I feel like you don't often get super quick synopses of
Yeah.
a champion's short stories in their bio.
I'll say it was unnecessary in the bio. It was just like, she also ran
probably
into
didn't need
Xerath, and with the help of these other champions, escaped. Anyway.
It's just a little link. It's like, read all about it
so
here.
weird. It's like, we don't need, this isn't like part of her anyway. I think now she's kind of choosing between maybe going back to Shurima and Azir, or finding her own path. I guess it said the path that she was destined for. I don't know what that even means. It didn't seem like it was a big destiny thing. Maybe. Whatever. Anyway, that's Sivir.
That's Sivir.
We ended on a real whimper there, huh? Yeah.
I feel like the bio did too. I didn't really feel like there was a big driving point here. I didn't really get where she was going or what she was doing. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd think they would kind of end it, because what we kind of get in Bloodlines is that, like, Xerath is out hunting her, and she's super important to Azir, and it's like, that feels like more of like the starting point, right? Of like, and now she's being hunted by these crazy fucking Xerath people, and what's she gonna do, right?
It's almost... So...
What a noise of disgust.
Right.
So I was thinking like how cool it would be to get, kind of an action piece with Xerath's zealots hunting her, because we get that for Cassante even, like a cool, like, well, his is Malzahar, I think, more than Xerath, but actually it may have been Xerath, I forget now.
It was one of them.
But one of those cultists was we get a cool action piece with him and them, and I thought it would have been cool to get one of those for Sivir too. But even worse than not getting one, Bloodline picks up presumably right after something really cool happened.
Yeah,
because she had just gotten out of some fight where she's like gravely injured, but we don't get to learn anything about that fucking fight. We just have the whole story. She's just sitting there with a wound in her side, and just what's that
wound.
story?
She's just bleeding everywhere all the time.
I know, right? She is in a perpetual state of getting stabbed, right?
Right?
Sarah, you got to get things together, man. Get your life together. Stop getting stabbed.
Look, it's like you get stabbed once, okay, that guy's an asshole. But if everyone you meet stabs you, maybe you're the asshole.
My God.
Oh.
Yeah,
But she absolutely is.
I mean, I will say I was kind of surprised. She comes off kind of villainous in many points
Yeah.
through the story, which I liked. I was a little surprised. I was like, okay, that's kind of fun. I'm into
I'll
it.
play with that a little bit.
Well,
I think, like, reading her bio, I found myself writing more notes than usual for a bio, just because there were so many things that just stuck out as either, like, surprising or odd or bad in some cases, but just, like, it was like every other line, I was like, all right, well, I gotta make note of that.
it is kind of a weird thing. I do know you were talking about, like, it's weird they have bloodlines mentioned in here, and, I mean, they updated the bio to include that little bit. What I loved about the previous version was they killed the parents in sentence 1. It was the opening fucking sentence.
Sivir has dead parents
They're
in
fucking
Shurima.
dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little bit
okay.
of that, but
I'm okay with it. If it's here, she's an orphan in Shurima. There seems like there's a lot of them, and it describes like she's become very selfish and self-serving, and that's interesting. I didn't expect that from Sivir either, and I like that. Villainous is an interesting word. I found her like so, I don't know, morally just in the middle
neutral.
with just herself, very neutral. Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I think like the one that sticks out is her taking over the mercenary company, because it seems like it was a very like a mentor-mentee relationship, and like
That's true.
maybe she was being taken financial advantage of to some degree, but it also kind of feels a little bit like it was a betrayal in some ways, maybe of that person whose name I also don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iha Zaharo.
Yeah,
Sahara.
it definitely was. Although she did leave her alive too, so she's not as.
Although,
mean,
like, it's
brutal.
kind of like you leave someone alive alone in the middle
In
of a
Shurima.
desert. Are you really?
You know, essentially, yeah, she is Barbosa, right, to Sahara's
Right.
Sparrow. Yeah, so stuff like turns like that, which are kind of like, okay, I mean, but I like it though, right? Because she's someone who's
Yeah.
so. It reminded me a bit of like Renata, where it's like they give you here's like what has shaped their worldview, and here's some things they've done, and some of it's like bad, and some of it maybe not so much, but it feels more, I guess, a little grounded for a character instead of being like, I don't know. So it's weird to me that she is so. They decided to go with like, and we're gonna hook her directly into like the plot with like Azir and Xerath and all this big, huge God Emperor shit. I don't know. It could,
But we're
work,
also going to make
but-
her not give a shit about any.
Yeah,
I mean,
which I don't either, so it was relatable.
look, I'm telling you that there's a story that can be told, right? And you could do it if like if you used her to like throw a mirror up to Azir and kind of like throw things back in his face, right? That's the whole thing I had. The idea was like she meets up with Nasus after all this shit, and they go back to Azir, and then they have this big confrontation. Oh my god, I got it all in my head. We'll go over it later.
Oh, nice.
I'm
But,
excited.
It's surely better than whatever we have.
But I think the big problem is that, like, it feels like it has been so long since we've done Azir, and here we are, like, fist deep in the S's, and there's no fucking progress. Sorry. Platonically kissing the S's. I don't know. It's been a long time, and there's been no fucking progress on this Azir shit, right?
I know.
Like, nothing's changed.
It feels too like Sivir's part in all of this. I got real D&D vibes on this, where like we'll say Riot's the DM who's put together this big Azir arc,
Yeah.
and like and roped Sivir in too, and like, oh, and your great grandfather, Emperor of Shurima, and she's like the player who's just like really interested in combat and doesn't give a shit about role playing. It's like,
loot.
yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go in this fucking cave.
I love that.
Can I rob him? What?
It's like how you play an
He's wearing a lot of gold.
open world game, right? Like there's this whole big fight going on, and you're like, hang on, though, I'm fighting a bear.
I mean, yeah.
I gotta help this guy get crickets for his girlfriend. Hang on.
Spanish fly, indeed. No, you're right, though.
I liked. We talked about her being part of that like group of young girls who goes tomb diving and stealing shit. It said, like, the young girl and the other orphans like her could only hope to survive by stealing food from local markets and delving into half-buried ancient ruins in search of trinkets to sell. And, like, I don't know, because I hear that there's a thriving market for tour guides across the Sai Khalik. So, I mean, that's another potential job for you.
Right? Positions are opening every day.
Nope.
Right?
Nobody wants that job.
So many advancement opportunities.
I'm trying to, okay, so like, what's the job title for that, right? Is it like Sai Khalik, like navigation specialist, like tier 1? Like, what do you think here? Junior grade?
Navigation engineer.
Navigation engineer, yeah. Oh my god, I love that. I want to see these streaming like LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, like Indeed job postings or whatever. That's great.
Now, they also made a reference. So they mentioned the Cathawans.
The people who kill Sivir's family.
They're one of Great Sai's most infamous raider tribes. And then when they're talking about the mercenary that she ended up working for, they're like a group of mercenaries led by the renowned Ihazaharo. And like, I've read a lot of lore at this point. I haven't heard of either of these two,
people.
so like, I mean, maybe they're not that famous. Like, slow your roll a little bit.
It's a big world, man. Come on, right?
Not Shurima, though.
There's no Journal of Justice anymore. No one's got any newspapers. No one can fucking
It's a
tell
big
what's
world,
happening.
but Neela's still heard of graves.
Yeah, come on. You know, everyone heard of Graves.
And it was his Playboy centerfold. That's how she knew about him.
And I have to say, between betraying her old mercenary group and then, you know, the captain of the guard who hired her specifically for this job, just getting this Chalakar, and then she got it and was like, but I want it now. Like, I feel like maybe all the times that she's been betrayed, like, maybe it's just kind of karma at this point.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you know, this is why I would really like her to have some confrontation with Azir, because I would like, Azir goes on and on about Xerath betraying him, and I feel like and I guess Xerath, you know, in some ways maybe kind of did, but like, you know, I feel like she would be in a much more grounded position to be like, who the fuck are you to get upset about betrayal? Like, didn't every time you like went off to go live in your fucking palace and he had to go back to his fucking slave hovel or some shit, isn't that kind of a betrayal of your friendship? Like, shit like
just
that.
a little bit.
Just a little, you know. And she's someone who seems to like has been both sides of it and can kind of, like I said, throw things back in Azir's face and really make him kind of come to grips with some shit, or not. Like, maybe he rejects it, but
which he would.
yeah, he absolutely
Azir.
would. And that's why you have Nasus there when that whole thing happens, and then he has to fucking Darth Vader that fucking emperor down into like a sand exhaust chute or some shit. I don't know.
A sand exhaust chute.
I'm telling you, like, Sivir's like, fuck this, I'm leaving, and Azir's like has his sand soldiers try and restrain her, and Nasus, who's been traveling with Sivir and they've formed a friendship, is like, he looks at Sivir, and he looks back at Azir, and he looks at Sivir, and he looks at Azir, and he lifts that motherfucker up, and then, oh man, I think that'd be tons of
And
fun.
then they
that
fall and get trapped in a tomb together.
Oh shit.
Now Nasus is the one who's
more of an odd
locked
couple
up
thing,
with
though.
Azir.
Right, by the time he gets
They're
out,
like
Renekton's
besties by
kind of
the end.
healed himself, and he's like, I'm
Yeah.
ready to be friends with my brother Nasus again. Now, there's one aspect of this story that really stuck out to me. And the whole revival bit, and it said so Sivir basically was like dead.
Yeah.
Said there in the Oasis of the Dawn, he used the healing waters of that sacred pool to miraculously undo Sivir's mortal wound. Like, why don't we hear more about the fucking Oasis of the Dawn? There was a healing pool in the Blessed Isles, and everyone wanted a piece of it.
That's
It was
true.
guarded by a labyrinth, several levels of magic, crazy technology, and a massive mist fucking
And ghosts.
border around the whole thing. And ghosts? Like, this shit's just sitting in the middle of the desert.
Does Sean know about it? He went through all this trouble to get
Right,
some
he's got this
fucking
gun.
weapon.
That would be pretty funny. I mean, who knows? Like, that's always a good question, right? Like, who knows how far down is it, or is it like you can see it from like if you just look down a little hole? It's like, hey, I think that's the Oasis of the Dawn down there. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be like it wasn't flowing until fucking Azir came back to life. Some bullshit like that,
So maybe
right?
they haven't really heard of it.
even
Word's
still,
gonna
right?
spread fast.
I mean, I guess it's like it is in the middle of like the big Shuriman capital ruins anyway, so people probably go there just to get other shit anyway, right? So it's like whatever.
Right,
Yeah,
you know there's Tomb Raiders fucking everywhere.
And has Sivir kept quiet about this? Is she like, dude, some ghost threw me in a pool and I
Dude.
came back to life?
All we know about Sivir is that she cares more about gold than literally anything.
That's true.
All of her
All her
voice lines
quotes,
talk
yeah.
about it. Her like just personality, like she should be way more interested in this water that brought her back to life. That is a fortune she's sitting on.
That's true.
Look,
From everywhere, all over Runeterra. That's not like
she doesn't have the entrepreneurial spirit. Okay, that's the problem with Sivir, right?
she killed her. Or she left her mentor for dead before she learned this lesson.
She's really good at like a task, like go get the Chalikar, but she's not good at like business sense and like I've got to figure out how to monetize. Right?
Right.
Her merch is shit. Let's just say that. You know.
That's why she let all her people die in that one mission with Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
Bad leadership.
Yeah. Exactly.
true.
That's why middle management for life. Never gonna get up there.
I can't believe I didn't think about this. She's like hunting goblets and shit for people in fucking graveyards, and there's a pool that brings back the dead, and she's not like, I gotta monetize this. Oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah, right. You really start kicking yourself when you think about it. It's like, oh man,
There's still time, Sivir. You can do it now. You know where it is.
Right?
Yeah, but now like you gotta go hang out
Arguably
with
the
your,
only one.
Too much time has passed. It's like embarrassing.
yeah, right. You gotta hang out with your grand or great granddad or whatever and shit.
That's true. He's awkward. He's got like weird butterscotch candies that he keeps trying to get you.
Like,
And he's like, it's Azir too, so he's trying to chew it for you first before like burning it into your mouth.
thanks. I'll just take that.
I'm gonna save this for later, Grandpa Azir.
I need old man Azir skin
Old man
now.
Is where there's originals. What would he summon? What would he fucking summon?
Oh my god.
Just like walkers.
It makes it sound like Game of Thrones.
orderly staff who are like
Oh,
attending to
orderly staff at the nursing home. Yes.
They all have like syringes instead of spears.
Oh, great, awesome.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, anyway.
Anywho, that's Sivir.
That's Sivir's bio.
That's the bio. That's by
Rayla
Rayla Hyde, by the way.
Oh, really? Damn, I didn't see the credit. Or I didn't look it up, I should say. Because
I was gonna say you didn't see it because it wasn't
It's
there.
not fucking there.
Thanks, Riot. All right, you want to talk about water?
Sure.
Sure. So this is the color story. This is like pretty immediately after she has been revived, right?
Right, like right after.
And Sivir is fucking thirsty. Reading this shit made me so fucking thirsty, I will say. Yeah. She's been out in the desert, so she's fucking thirsty, and she's kind of scoping out this like this little bit of water in this dried up like ravine creek bed, and it's those damn what were y'all saying?
Let's see. What did we decide on?
What did y'all?
I need to see it again.
Cathowans?
Cthulhu's. Yeah, it's the same people from her bio who killed her parents, and she's like, these guys are serious fucking business, but I am terribly thirsty. So she kind of very deftly starts killing their guards, and she almost kind of gets them all, but her strength kind of runs out, and so she's stuck kind of out in the open with no weapon, and there are these 3 guards left, and she just kind of bluffs her way through the whole situation. She just kind of like intimidates them into like backing off, and they do. And as she goes to go drink that shitty muddy water, she hears the sound that she's been hearing, and it's like the water, like fresh clean water, is filling the riverbed, and it's coming from the capital, because I guess Azir is making water flow again. I guess it's the Oasis of the Dawn. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's kind
Healing
of like in
water's
the
everywhere.
cinematic. She's in it. Yeah, she's floating in it. And that's water.
That's water. I can't remember another story off the top of my head that uses a swear word like this.
Oh, the big
The
very
word, the big B.
The big
very
B.
aggressive B word.
She says,
Was.
that Noxian bitch sunk a blade in my back.
What's kind of a bitchy thing to do?
It was kind of a bitchy thing to do.
I cannot remember a story that had so much of it italicized for no reason.
Yeah, I was very confused.
It's
like they were really worried that we wouldn't be able to tell the difference between narrator and Sivir's quotes, which were in quotes for the most part.
Or like, very reasonably proceeded with like she thought or something of that nature, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can someone just like go and control A and then control I and then control I again so it's all just the normal casing? There's no need for the italics here.
Yeah. This was kind of a unique action piece too, because I feel like most action pieces really highlight how physically capable somebody is. Like you get, the Akali one where she just wrecks an entire bar full of people and all that shit. This is that rare action piece where the person does kind of one cool thing, and then the rest of the time you're left kind of with, again, we talked about starting Bloodline with the knowing that something cool happened just off screen. We kind of get that again here, where like everyone's very intimidated. They're like, oh shit, this is the Sivir. She's done all this cool shit. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool shit. And you're like, all right, well, I guess we should just go because she can probably beat us. Like, wait, no, I want to see the cool shit. Show me the cool shit. I want to see it.
I know. I would like to get that at some point. I did like this. It's a nice turn for a color story, right? Like that's my favorite moment. Probably the best little bit of Sivir characterization across it all is her like intimidating these guys out of fighting her and just bold-faced lying that like I can kill you. I'm just choosing not to. When she's like, right. I could not carry my ass that 5 feet to get my fucking blade. Yeah. I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
But it would be nice for her to pop off, and that's what I'm saying. You have a little road trip story with her and Nasus where they become friends and they have some action pieces because Nasus was a lot of fun to watch fight, and I'm sure that'd be a lot of fun. Just saying.
That'd be neat. Could be good. Could be good.
Yeah, I liked it overall. Like I said, it made me thirsty.
It literally thirsty for water, not the other one.
No.
Maybe a little bit both. And in case, for the record, she's very dehydrated at this point, and she's running for her Chalakar, which has blown off course because she accidentally cut one too many necks with it. Cut that unintended other neck. And she gets a cramp, and she just can't go any further. And if you've never had a dehydration cramp, holy shit. I feel like when they describe it, it sounds kind of like weenie. Like she's like running, she's speeding, and then she's like, "Oh no, cramp! Ooh, ah!" But like that's just serious business.
Well, she's died, so maybe the dehydration cramp wasn't as. She's been stabbed a lot.
I stubbed my toe, and this is bad. But I also died, and I feel like that was a little worse. I don't know.
It's a little worse. Yeah.
That would be funny.
Do you remember that episode of Naked and Afraid, where that big jacked good dude got dehydrated and got a cramp and had to be taken off the show like day one?
No, I don't remember.
I never watched that show.
Was it Naked and Afraid or Alone?
It was Naked and Afraid.
Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, because he had partners. They were all like, "Oh, sorry, man."
I don't know. I've never gotten a dehydration cramp, but I have given birth, so.
So could you have raced the extra 10 feet to the Chalakar while giving birth?
While giving birth? Why are you adding the giving birth aspect?
Well,
I think Sivir's was probably bad. I'm more making fun of the guy who dipped on Naked and Afraid Day fucking one.
I think you said, oh no, Sivir wasn't giving birth. I don't know if you got confused or something, but that's not
Sivir
what was happening.
wasn't giving birth. I don't think so.
Fuck, what story did this guy read?
Jesus Christ, is Sivir a mom? Not a lot of parent champs.
Yeah.
No, but Sivir's been through it way more than me. I mean, if she says it's bad, then I believe her. She's died,
She's been stabbed a lot. If we learn one thing from Bloodlines, it's that she's been stabbed a lot, just only once in the back.
Only in the front, right? She's like wearing the opposite of the Noxian armor. It's all in the back. Right? Very armadillo. Yeah. Maybe she's a Rammus fan.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
I like the idea. They're Rammus people.
You okay? Are you alright?
I snarfed a bit of wine.
Well, stop snarfing your wine, honey. You drink it.
Snarf.
We're good. Oh, man, it burns.
Oh. Do you need to be helicoptered out?
Okay,
No,
no,
I'm fine.
no.
I can
Now
go
imagine
on.
you're snarfing your wine. Can you run the 5 feet to
Can
get your
you
chalice
let me
off?
your plate?
Is it worse than giving birth?
This might have been.
This might have
right
been,
here.
yeah.
He was there, he saw how bad it was for him.
Yeah.
Snarfing wine, too.
I had to watch her get a shot in her back. Oh my god, that was so bad for me.
They didn't let me watch. They hid.
They were like, get the fuck out in case
Sir,
you pass
sir,
out.
sit in this corner, please.
They made him sit in the corner.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
Jesus.
screened me.
Sorry.
They,
Yeah, fix this. It's
they
all
hid me
broken.
away.
They hid you away. They let him in the room, but he had to sit in the corner.
Yeah.
Whew,
That's all for
all right.
for water.
By the way, this is Odin Austin Schaefer.
Yeah. All right, we want to talk
Next
about
up, we got Bloodline by
Sorry.
Oh, I wait with
the
bated
man
breath.
himself, Graham McNeil.
Yes. We read this one for Nasus.
Yeah.
Just Nasus or Kaisa too?
Just
Maybe-
Nasus. We'll probably read it again for Talia.
And then again
Oh,
for
that's right.
Zereth.
Talia's in it, not Kaisa.
And then again for somebody
and
else,
Zereth.
probably, somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll read
Zed.
it again for Zareth. Fuck, Zed somehow. We're going to be reading the Zed comic again for Zareth.
So, much like LeBlanc, every shadow you see in game could be Zed.
Could be
Read
Zed.
about. Yeah, so it's like you said. I mean, really, okay. So when we read stories like this, I kind of skim when we get to people who aren't like we're doing it for Nasus, right? So I skimmed Sivir, and then coming back to it, it's like she doesn't do a lot. It's like you had said earlier.
No.
She's stabbed, and is mostly just someone who's been stabbed for the whole story.
Yeah,
Right.
she's like you're escorting her in the game. She's
Oh my
your
God,
escort mission.
She really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's really it, right? Like Talia is taking care of her because she's been stabbed, and she wakes up, and then Nasus finds her, and Nasus tells her, "Hey, Zareth's coming, and he wants to fuck you up." And she's the one. I always thought it was Talia who told Nasus, like, "Well, if you're gonna protect Shurima, go protect it. It's getting all fucked up." But it was Sivir, which I found kind of weird. In all honesty, it seems like that's something that she could come to later, like after she's done some personal growth. This Sivir, who doesn't give a shit about literally anything but AU. That's the gold periodic thing, right?
Yes, it did confuse me for a second. I was like, she cares about the alternate universe, ours.
She really
and
is.
then I realized
Apparently
she
she
meant gold.
does. She's got the story on Universe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
right.
told them. She called up Riot. Was like, you need to put this.
So
like
I
this.
have a my read on that whole situation, for the record, was that she was just so fucking done with Nasus that she was like, what is gonna get this fucking guy out of this house right now? Like, you're a protector, right? Go protect people. You're a big hero. Like, go do that thing. And as soon as he leaves, she's like, thank God. You want to get the hell out of here, Talia? Like, dude sucks. You smell his breath, man. He smells 1,000 years old.
I feel like if you like saw the bullshit that was coming on the horizon from Zareth, I would want to ask, like, fuck those people. I've been stabbed, okay? Right here.
Right here. Right here. Some classic Firefly up in here.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
But yeah, you come with me, Mr. Big Jackal Man. Fight these people. Carry me, all right? Yoda
literally
my
a
ass
god.
out of here.
Right.
So, I don't know.
This was interesting too, because we kind of talked about the fact that she's currently being hunted by Zareth goons. Literally the only place, and if I'm wrong about this, let me know, but literally the only place anyone ever says that she's being hunted by Zareth goons is like one line in here where it says, because I've killed a lot of people, sometimes because I was paid to, sometimes because they were in my way, but these days it's usually because they get very angry when I tell them I'm not going back to that city that just rose from the sands. And that's kind of like, I mean, Nasus does have like well, they're gonna come for you, but like we don't actually like. That would have been an interesting thing in the bio. We didn't need to know that she was in the random city where Zareth attacked. What we should have been told is like, and now Zareth's goons are trying to get her.
We see.
Like, that would have been a useful piece of information.
I completely agree. And what I would say is my read on that line was that it was not Xerath's. Like, yes, Xerath wants her, and thus his goons do, but that also the people who were getting upset with her were from, like, people who were followers of Azir, right? Because that's the city that just came out of the sands, is Azir's city over in, like, the east, I think. I need, like, a map. So I kind of thought the idea, like,
right.
like she says when she's like, "Oh, who stabbed you specifically?" It's like, "Oh, some guys who couldn't take no for an answer." And I thought maybe they were supposed to be implying that they were Azir followers who were, like, trying to forcibly take her to Azir, who probably, you know, obviously has wants her for some reason. I don't know, that bloodline is important, right? So
yeah,
I kind of like that she's being hunted by both, right? You know, and she's.
It's like, you both suck. I don't want either.
And you know why I like that? You know why I like that, right? Is because, okay, let's imagine a world where Nasus has somehow turned against Azir for his new friend Sivir, right? And she's got these two god emperors who are trying to steal her. You know what she needs? She needs fucking answers. What the fuck's going on? Who does she know who has answers? Well, Nasus, but he's busy dealing with Azir. You know who else knows? That fucking Noxian bitch, Cassiopeia. Sivir has to go find Cassiopeia, and they gotta work together because Sivir needs info and Cassiopeia needs the Chalicar. Do it.
But Cassiopeia is busy doing nothing in the lore.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Also, does Cass know that she needs it? I think Cass only knew that the Chalicar was the key to the tomb that might have the secrets to Ascension. Now, we know that the Chalicar is way fucking more than that. Although, for the record, and I should have texted you all about this ahead of time, we don't know any of that shit from any of the Sivir stories.
I was going to say, what's the Chalicar for?
There's a whole story about the Ascended meeting. And it goes into, we meet all sorts of Ascended. They talk about Ascended that aren't there. They talk about Darkin.
I remember that.
And we learn a lot about the Chalicar and what it was meant to do in that story, but it's not linked anywhere here.
So what's it meant to do?
I mean, it's like a big. I mean, it was originally like the big Ascended general's weapon.
Yeah,
they're using it.
I got some fun facts here.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got all the deets.
Okay. So, first of all, the Chalicar is from the Celestial Kingdom, above Targon's Peak, originally.
Okay.
This whole thing.
If funneled, the weapon's able to cast Portal Jump and allows releasing an empowered form of Moonfalling to reverse the Ascension from Darkin.
Okay,
so they could reverse Ascension from Darkin. And I think that's just kind of like... unlocking its ability to portal, I guess.
Who would be able to do that?
Zoe can.
Zoe. Okay.
Yeah.
So celestial beings.
I guess you'll remember the story. Do you remember the story with Panther Man and whatnot back when we did Nasus? Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
That's it. And that's where we see all this shit happening. Right? Is it doing its thing?
Yeah. And then by the end of that story, it had absorbed basically Darkin DNA essence, which combined with Tanari's heart would allow humans to craft the weapons that were tailored to trap Darkins. So this is why people were able to trap Aatrox within a sword and Rost within a scythe. Was kind of using the Chalicar's power.
I feel like I'm trying to read a champion's abilities, and I'm like, wait, how many stacks do I fucking need?
You need all of the fucking stacks. Yeah.
And for the record, all right, so the Chalicar has a resonance to the Ascended, which includes Azir. So it acts as it acted as a channel between Sivir and Azir, which is the entire reason that her blood was actually able to revive him in the first place.
This is okay. So just to be clear, this is all coming from some rioter, right? Like
that bit's a rioter for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so just making sure. I'm just setting the scene. I'm setting the context, right?
And the story. This bit back to the story, I guess. They mention that there is someone who's destined to either destroy or unite Shurima, and their name is Savunis Alahir, which they really fucking Agatha Harknessed this one.
What a reference.
You rearrange it, and it says, I am Lord Sivir.
Literally the first three letters of Savunis and the last two of Aluhair are Sivir.
You gotta spell it out sometimes. I mean,
Well, you didn't have to spell out that part, but the rest of it was very complicated.
Yeah, there's a
Could
lot
they
of
have
shit that
dumbed
you just
down the
laid
rest
out.
of it for me?
I mean, look, so to get back to the original point, it's like, yeah, you're
Sure.
right, Cassiopeia didn't know about any of that shit, but all you need to do to fix that is like some pale woman saying, there's some interest in this
Which
Chalicard.
pale woman?
Who could she be, right?
Yeah.
You will do this, you will deal with Sivir, and you won't, crush her with your tail body or whatever. Right, there you go.
That would be really funny, actually. Like, Cassiopeia goes back to LeBlanc and is like, hey, I did the thing you asked me to do. I used the Chalicard to open the tomb, and, the Ascended came out, and they're like, okay, where's the Chalicard? Like, wait, what? I thought that was just the key.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, we need the fucking Chalicard. Like, oh, god damn it.
That's right. That sounds like something Benny in The Mummy would have done. You remember him?
The, like, bumbling
The
side.
bumbling guy who,
From The Mummy.
helps. I've seen The Mummy so many times. I'm so sorry. I thought
Benny
everyone would instantly
from
be
the
like,
Mummy. Okay, I thought you said like
Yeah.
Benny and the Mummy. I'm like, is this
I
some
know
like
Benny from The Mummy.
My favorite
yeah.
80s rock band.
And not, yeah.
Benny and the Mummy? Mummy.
Mommy.
But you're right. Yes, that's a good comparison. I don't have much else to say for Bloodlines.
I didn't have much about
I
this
wish
one
she
either.
hadn't been
Sivir was
comatose
in it,
most
but
of
just barely.
Yeah.
It was like they were told to put Sivir in a story and they had already written this one or something.
Like, shit, how do we put her in this without having her do anything? I don't know. She just
She
stabbed?
stopped stabbed.
Cool.
I don't know, man. That's kind of her thing,
Can't
right?
keep stabbing Sivir.
At some point.
That's where you're wrong.
There's only
kiddo.
so much blood in there, She
At this point, she does need to be stabbed for the rule of threes. We're 2 stabbings in. We need 1 more. But
She's like Chekhov's knife. Like if Sivir's in a scene, someone's
someone's gonna fucking stab
And it's
that.
going to be her.
Okay, but like that's the thing about Sivir is that like she can't progress because like anything that happens with her is going to advance the Azir Zareth shit, and like that shit's never going to come to a conclusion because that's the whole thing. So it's like it like weighs her down so much. I feel like almost.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Now, she's mentioned a ton. And so I have the stories that she's mentioned in. And all of them, she's just mentioned for like a line, basically. So instead of telling you in what context she's being mentioned, what I have done is I've written down how she was referred to
Oh, okay.
in each of the
okay.
stories. First off, Arisen by Anthony Reynolds Lenne. She's called Daughter of Shurima. And Water and Shade to You by Graham McNeil is another Azir story, also Daughter of Shurima. We've got Echoes in the Stone by Ariel Lawrence, which is a Talia story, where she's just referred to as that woman from Vakora.
Okay.
We've got The Butcher of the Sands by Anthony Reynolds Lenne, where Renekton refers to her as that greedy mortal scavenger. We've got The Emperor of the Sands by Graham McNeil, where another Azir one, she's just referred to as his last descendant. The Magus Ascendant, Graham McNeil, only one where she's referred to as Sivir.
Great.
Zareth is the only one who uses her fucking name.
Aw, see,
Everyone
he's
else is
really the
family.
hero. He's the good guy.
And then The Serpent's Embrace, Ian St. Martin, the Cassiopeia story. She's just called a local mercenary.
Great. That's neat.
Well, that's canon Sivir, huh?
That is.
I
There's a
think
few
so.
cinematics, Descent in the Tomb and Rise of the Ascended, which are basically just cinematic versions of the stories we hear about everywhere else, narrated by Nasus.
Yeah. I think I said it back in the Cassiopeia episode, but I'm going to reiterate it, is that those videos didn't used to have Nasus narrating. It used to be Sivir and Cassiopeia talking back and forth, and it would be in...
That's right.
Yeah, and it was way fucking better. Thanks, Riot. Sorry. That's all. I just like to... I really... Yeah. That's all.
That's all.
That's all.
You want to learn about some old lore?
I do.
I do.
This is kind of interesting.
I'm curious because this is like pre-Azir. She's so centered around Azir now.
Yeah.
Now, I grabbed the original bio.
Oh, fuck
The
So this is
yeah.
pre-
The
League.
2009.
This is pre-League.
Okay, I'm curious to hear this, because I couldn't find
This
that
is
one.
pre-Noxus.
That's interesting. See, that's the interesting part, right?
So Sivir was a battle mistress for Altria, which is what Noxus used to be before it was named Noxus. Basically, they wanted to invade Ionia, like Altria do. Sivir objected, but was largely ignored, so they went anyway. And she was leading one of their battle mistress phalanxes. The Ionians destroyed half of her phalanx, and they were forced to retreat. And then she just decided to desert Altria and abandon her unit.
So she was
the
Riven.
original Riven.
Yeah.
She was pre-Riven.
That's so crazy.
Wow.
You scratch Sivir and you find a little ribbon underneath, or maybe vice versa. I don't know.
Yeah. You shave
nuts.
down Riven enough.
Yeah.
And then basically the end of it was just like after the treaties were signed and the Rune Wars ended, Sivir came to the Institute to speak out against the atrocities committed by her former realm. So she was basically just a spokesperson at that point against wars in Ionia.
Damn.
Wow.
That's weird. That's even weirder when you look at the bio where the League of Legends, like the next ones, right? After the League is a little more established. Because it's like the inverse, where she does oppose the Noxian invasion, but not for any moral grounds. It's like from a purely tactic standpoint.
Strategic.
It's like, you guys are not doing this right. It's going to be a fucking quagmire. And lo and behold, it is. And that's all. So she's like a mercenary still, right? She just didn't want to do it. Because she's like, this is fucked. I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah. You got some bad tacticians. Fuck them.
Yeah. It's very interesting how they made her more ruthless, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she also shows up in one Journal of Justice article, which is the only one, so I'm just going to fucking read it. This one's called Sivir's Vacation.
Is this by our boy Ramsteed?
This
Pretty
is
sure
our
it's by
boy Ramsteed.
Oh, is it going to be about her bikini?
Don't worry. It's even better. Sure, she's deadly. She wouldn't still have the title The Battle Mistress if she wasn't. Sure, she survived multiple attempts on her life at the behest of the Noxian High Command. Sure, she's hotter than a summer day. That red and gold outfit certainly provides her with plenty of space to move. Nevertheless, Our Lady Sivir may have come up against a force she won't be able to overcome. For those whose memory is less than stellar, Sivir was arrested last October after going for an alcohol-induced joyride in a Hextech conveyance, terrorizing her two passengers and a host of pedestrians. She was arrested by Demacian authorities shortly afterwards. If you remember the hype, and she stood trial just the other day. Judge Haley Swade took pity on Sivir's "I'm just a lonely girl with personal problems" defense and sentenced the champion to 90 days in a Demacian penitentiary, with time spent in the fields of justice not counting towards her sentence. Listen, I love our champions. They pay my bills. But one thing I can't stand is the way they're given special dispensation by the courts. If I'd done the same thing, I'd be in jail for the next 18 months, and not in the cushy part of the prison. Oh well, position has its privilege, but we'll have to see how a jail term interferes with their duties to the League of Legends. More on this as it develops.
Don't worry,
Spoiler
there won't
alert,
be any
there
more.
won't be more.
They abandoned the drunk driving storyline.
Oh my god. I don't know what the fuck to do with Sivir. Yeah. Or at least they didn't, I guess. They got an idea now. That's fucking great, though. I love that he's
So
complaining.
weird.
I know, it's so weird. It's so
Out of place.
There's so many champions that could have gone on a drunken bender.
Sivir.
Well, I love that he's complaining. He's like, oh, this special dispensation from the courts. It's like later on, don't you like interview a murderer? Like just an out and out murderer who kind of like isn't arrested for some reason that's related to
Right?
the league. I guess to be fair, he got stabbed. Hey, there's your third one. Sivir was around. That guy got stabbed later. Great.
You wrote that story about Sivir? That's what happens.
Shit. Good times.
Whew. Now, she does show up in a few other cinematics. Non-lore related.
Of course.
She's in the Clash of Fate cinematic. You know, she's on the cliff at the end there with all the other old folks in the old Riot retirement home. She's in the Worlds Collide cinematic where she's fighting an Alistar.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
And then she's in the Ignite cinematic, where she is the AD carry on Faker's team at the end. But literally, until like yesterday, when I looked into this, I thought that was a fucking Kale on his team, because it's Sivir, but she's wearing the Warden skin, so she's got the full fucking mask and everything.
We literally were in game with a Sivir yesterday that was wearing the Warden skin, and I thought it was a Kale for like a while.
It really looks like Kale.
Now, is that the one who we forgot was in the game entirely? Or
yes.
was that
Yes.
I was like, oh my god, there's a Sivir? Because I just thought that was a fucking Kale the whole time.
Yeah. Literally, like, I was watching the cinematic and I was like, I don't see fucking Sivir anywhere. Is she in that final scene where it's just that girl's room? Like, where is this? And yeah, I looked closer and realized, like, why is that Kale carrying that boomerang?
That's not yours. You give it back.
Give it back to Sivir, you silly Billy. Yeah, so those are the cinematics. There's a few quotes. All right, this is one I like. She's got one line that says, keeping the Ascended in line is a full-time job. And like, girl, what the hell do you think you're doing to keep them in line? What?
Right? she's like, oh my gosh, she's like the laziest, like, work from home, like, whatever, like, employee. Oh my, this is so fucking hard.
She rigged her boomerang to move every once in a while.
Goddamn.
Oh no.
She's got a quote that says, everyone has a price, which is a pretty common saying, but I like to think that she was quoting Ted DiBiase of WWF fame, the $1 Million Man.
Great. Awesome.
Sure, hun.
Appreciate that.
And there's one other quote. So a lot of the times these quotes kind of come from, I'll see on the wiki page, like various references. This was not on the wiki page. I caught this myself.
Ooh, shit.
A John original?
John original.
So how much of a stretch is it going to be?
It's actually pretty on the nose. She has a quote that says, I'll fight for a cause. I won't die for one. Which is a direct inverse to a line that Silco says to our boy. I'm just completely spacing on his name now. Vander. Silco says to our boy Vander in episode 3 of Arcane, where he says, "You'll die for a cause, but you won't fight for one." Because he's just not that man anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not that into you, Silco.
So,
favorite rom-com.
Update the wiki.
Or don't. Yeah, whatever. It's
Yes, whatever.
I don't know how the arbitration works on that.
I got what I needed out of it.
All right. Gotta look at those skins.
Y'all already want some AU? Do you want some AU?
I wanna,
Yeah. I'm just looking at the skins.
Yes, please.
First up, we got Legacy. Treasures from days long past, glimmering just within reach. And unsurprisingly, a lot of Sivir skins fall here.
Oh, God, yeah.
We got Bandit Sivir, Warrior Princess Sivir, and Spectacular Sivir.
I can't believe that these haven't been updated, and they updated our new splash.
Well, they just slapped a little
Weird.
10 cent over it, and it's like, it's fine.
It's fine.
I just
I
love this.
can't believe that none of these have been put into other AUs at this point.
Right,
I
especially
feel like
Wonder Woman's Sivir.
Exactly. That's the one I would have expected to end up in the Silver Age AU.
You know, I think the thing is that these are both. I mean, I have to look at the Wonder Woman one again, but the Xena one for sure. Are like, if that was a relevant IP, someone would probably sue Riot at this juncture, and so they're probably like, "Don't draw any attention to this. Just sweep it under the old
keep
rug."
that a little separate.
So,
Which one is Wonder Woman?
I think that one was Spectacular, and I do think it's gotten a few splash updates to separate it.
Oh, there it is. Okay, it's all the way at the bottom.
So is this also? I was wondering
Yes,
in that
I
Ram
see it.
Steed article, he's like, "Ooh, that red and gold outfit," and I was like, "Her old."
That's what it looks like,
Yeah, he
yeah.
must be talking about this one. I love the idea. So like that draws into question how skins work in the old Institute of War. Is it just outfits that they just throw on for random things? Is it like a summoner?
Oh,
like
you bet it is.
Is it like is it kind of like a weird Twitch like streamer thing where it's like if the summoner pays money, then you'll wear the little maid outfit? I'm just saying. I don't want to add that to the already corrupt League of Legends, but I don't know.
The pay for favor system.
Let's not
even
ruminate.
the League of Legends, the Institute of War even has microtransactions.
Right. Yeah, let's not ruminate.
Next up, we got Institute of War / Wardens. Great. The Protectorate was an order dedicated to enforcing a rigid, unforgiving system of laws in an attempt to slow the seemingly inevitable rise of the Mage Lords. Though the order itself was disbanded long ago, wardens now don their armor as they lie in wait for the opportunity to strike against the descendants of their ancient enemy. This one is Warden Sivir. The wardens, like the Protectorate before them, cannot rely on innumerable conquered peoples to bolster its military as the Marauders do. Sivir, a skilled sellsword, was sworn into the order's ranks only to take up the cause in earnest when she learned the organization's true purpose.
What is the purpose? I don't remember.
To slow the seemingly inevitable rise of the Mage Lords.
Oh, okay. I guess I thought that was on their business card. I didn't realize that was a secret. I don't know.
It probably is on the business cards, but like Sivir doesn't read those. She's just like, how much gold? All right, fine, whatever.
Oh, that's what we're doing. Cool.
I was hired to lead, not to read.
Oh wow, John.
Next up, we got Culinary Masters.
Hell yeah, this one always makes me want pizza.
Culinary Masters, the incredibly popular cooking competition reality series, is streaming now, everywhere, on all the platforms, all 1,000 episodes from each of the 50 seasons. Even Culinary Masters Superstars and Celebrity Culinary Masters. Start binging today. This one's Pizza Delivery Sivir. The fastest pizza delivery girl on the continent, Sivir has racked up an impressive 9 consecutive awards from corporate headquarters and hasn't seen a customer complaint since online reviews were invented. Her vicious rivalry with Birdio is well documented, and the two will do anything to one-up each other.
Really?
In case you're unfamiliar with the AU, Birdio is the Galio
Right.
version.
Who's
This chicken
in the
outfit.
background here? That's Birdio. It looks like Annie with a goatee, which is very confusing.
It's like Annie and Pugma.
Oh, is that Pugma? Oh, I see it now. I thought it was a boy with bulging eyes. I was very confused.
A poor little lad. With...
I see it now. Thank you.
Now, fun fact about this skin. Her pizza weapon has 3 types of toppings for each chroma variant. Mm-hmm. So her normal skin has Hawaiian pizza with pineapple. Amethyst has creamy cheese with vegetables, spinach, mushrooms, and broccoli.
Oh, like a white
Aquamarine
pie.
has... the white pie. Aquamarine has fish ingredients like sardines and salmon. Cat's Eye uses yellow cheese and meat like bacon and meatballs. Obsidian sports the dual toppings from all other variants. And then Rose Quartz has tomato sauce base with a mix of meat and veggies.
God, I could kill for a pizza right now.
Right? We get hungry and thirsty on this fucking episode, man.
Pizza and water, stat.
I will say I did cook a big ass lasagna, and I'm very hungry for that lasagna when I get out of here.
Nice.
All right, I'll try and wrap this up then. I don't want to keep you from your lasagna.
That's okay. I had a piece. I'm just going to have more when I get done.
Gotcha.
Hell yeah.
Then we got Odyssey. From the heavily urbanized core worlds to the outermost edge of the galaxy, adventure awaits. The great Damaxian Empire has laid claim to almost every inhabited system, ignoring the objections of the ancient Templar Order and the criminal syndicate alike, in pursuit of the wondrous bounty of Aura. This mysterious golden essence, drawn from the vast, majestic creatures that patrol the stars, is the lifeblood of all civilization, but also promises untold power to those who can wield it for themselves. This one is Odyssey Sivir. Sivir runs her own small bounty hunting operation on the fringes of the galaxy. She's self-made and tough, having lost her parents to the Damaxian Empire many years prior, but holds on to her soft and sympathetic side despite that hardened exterior. Sivir was hired by Karma along with the other mercs to free the captured Templars. You can't keep a good parent up, is what they say. As backstory here, Odyssey, Kha'Zix, Sivir, and Twisted Fate were hired by Karma to free the Templars from Aatrox, but Kha'Zix is secretly working for Aatrox.
Okay.
Shh,
Dun,
don't tell.
dun.
Next up, we got Cafe Cuties.
Oh, I forgot you had one of these.
Good food is magic. Literally. In a world of elegant tea times and enchanted pastries, mages make magical macarons, craft charmed croissants, and serve up sorcerous scones to scores of customers eager to get a taste.
Croissant.
You have too much fun doing this one.
So I'll tone it back. This is Cafe Cutie Sivir. Sivir began as a pastry
Great.
chef, but has since transitioned to front-of-house defense specialist. Her protective nature has gotten her into a few scraps with unruly customers, but Sivir's love of her work, her friends, and the cafe is what she's really fighting
Can't
for.
get the pep out. Can't
If you want to talk to the manager, she's got some words for you, too.
Ooh.
She's just Mac. She's doing ocular pat downs. She's identifying people as threats.
Oh my god, she's Mac. You're
Man, we have a lot of champions that are Mac.
no.
He's one of the
that's
Jungian
funny.
archetypes, honestly, when you think about it, right? That's great.
Let's see. Now we got Eclipse. Long ago, an order of monastic knights slew the vile gods of the old world, using esoteric powers granted by the moon and sun. Now the world has grown dark and violent as those selfsame deities prepare their return, challenged only by the light of the eclipse. This is Solar Eclipse Sivir. A mercenary eclipse knight known for her skill in battle and lack of chivalry, Sivir sells her services, eliminating witches and monsters who menace the countryside, ignoring threats that do not prove lucrative. Though many knights find nobility in their stated purpose, Sivir cares not for... Man. It's tough. It's tough.
You can do it.
Though many knights find nobility in their stated purpose, Sivir cares not but for coin,
There you go.
pledging to aid her order only in their final dire hour.
Well done.
Yeah, I did it.
When you're saying she was well known, I think it's like she's well known for not having parents.
Known across the galaxy, in fact, for not having parents.
And get stabbed.
Oh, God, I hope she gets stabbed in one of these at least.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Just a little.
Just a little. Not like a big deal. Just a little stabby stab. Next up, we got Snowdown Showdown, and she's in the Winter Wonder one. Within the magical Winterlands, the Poro King reigns supreme, spreading joy and merriment to all of his court. Even as others work to usurp the king, all share a common love for winter's wonders. This one's Snowstorm Sivir. The wild and brash battle mistress known as Sivir cares only for the thrill of combat and the rattle of coin. She relentlessly hunts her bounties across the ice, cutting down opponents with a massive razor-sharp snowflake, as hard and unforgiving as the cruelest snowstorm.
Okay, I have two questions. One, is it still
Yes.
a snowflake if it's a big, like, giant ice blade thingy? Does that count as a
Yes,
snowflake? Okay.
obviously.
Is
It
just
says
a
in the
shape?
lore.
Okay. And then number two, why is it that she's still just a bounty hunter in the Snowdown universe? Like, she couldn't be hunting, like, I don't know, people who took presents
Snowmen.
or snowmen or literally anything. It's still
She's
cold.
the great Grinch hunter.
The Great Grinch Hunter. Also, can we get like ladies in the snow skins some pants, please?
No,
Just,
again,
like,
very silly question. You cannot do that.
she's barely clothed.
Yeah.
Maybe she's
at
an
her
iceborn
breasts,
or some old
John.
bullshit.
Fun fact. Her design in this one was inspired by the dance princess of the ice barrier from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, does she also not have pants?
Basically.
I mean, probably she's a card, so, you know. I assume. I
pants
don't
on a
fucking
card.
know.
If cards were pants, would they be like this? They hate me. All right, keep going.
Storycraft. So I think it's a new one. Long ago, the defeat of the great beast Galio gave rise to Lunar New Year's traditions that are carried on through the retelling of that epic tale. Within the story itself lies a living world all its own, but when the world of the story is suddenly interrupted, the characters must work together to fix the mess and see their own myth through. This one's Mythmaker Sivir. Once the hero of the Great Beast Galio, Sivir's myth world is forever changed when the lunar players interrupt her climactic battle, and she discovers that she is no longer the protagonist. Grappling with the question of who she is if she is not saving the day, Sivir must now carve out a role for herself in a tale whose future is suddenly unwritten.
That's
And
a
there's
cool
prestige
AU.
version. It is a pretty cool AU. I dig that. And there's a prestige skin for this one, too.
There is.
Sivir seeks nothing short of opulence. Her beautiful clothes, symbols of personal success, as much as they are points of sartorial pride. It's important that she looks impeccable. The new year is here, after all, and starting it off right means stepping out in style. So I feel like she has found a new purpose, and it's money, is what I'm getting from the prestige version.
I remember when they announced this skin, I was somewhere on Twitter, and someone put this against, like, next to, like, I don't know, some old skin, like Clover Malphite, and we're like, these are in the same game.
You know, it's not fair to compare it to Shamrock Malphite. That shit's too fucking good.
Right.
Fuck,
His little
it's so
bat- his-
funny.
His name tag.
If they ever change that, I'm fucking quitting League. Like, I'm done.
That's it.
I'm
That's it.
uninstalling the game if they change Shamrock Malphite.
You heard it right. Don't fucking do it.
Next up, we got prehistoric hunters. Gargantuan monsters roam our land, stalking their prey with frightening precision. Humans would surely become their next meals if not for the hunters. Armed with blades crafted from the bones of their first kills, with instincts that rival the most fearsome of beasts, the hunters protect their people each day from a grisly fate. This one is Huntress Sivir, who was clearly just added into this AU after the fact and has no lore.
Can you look at how long her leg is, though? Shit's fucking hilarious.
It's off screen. You can't see the end of the
It's not-
leg.
I highly recommend looking up this skin and looking at her leg, because
I'm
it's
gonna check
just,
that shit
it's
out.
gone. It doesn't... Why?
It
it's
could
so
go on for another
long.
10 feet. We don't know.
It's a completely different color.
Let me fucking peep this shit. Hold on. Oh, I can't find
So
it.
weird.
I'll find it later.
Huntress Sivir.
Oh yeah, that shit is long. What the fuck?
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, what the fuck? I was like, oh, you know, who knows? But then you see it, and you just have a visceral reaction. It's like uncanny. The
But
human-
that's not her leg. She took that from someone else.
Hey,
Greedy
she's a battle
motherfucker.
huntress.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Victorious. Champions conquer their enemies and ascend to new heights, achieving their wildest dreams and showing off their hard-earned spoils to any and all who want to look upon true greatness. And this Victorious Sivir blurb is, as the ultimate battle mistress, Sivir wears a winged crown of victory and wields a golden weapon.
Oh, that's it?
I'm sorry, there's not more.
This is from 2015. I've never seen this in my life. Because me and the people I hang out with don't get gold.
All right, and finally, last one. The one that ties to the story on her universe page. Moons of Ionia, and she's in the Blood Moon. An ancient cult seeking irresistible power surfaces on nights of the Blood Moon to perform profane, esoteric rites, merging their flesh with demonic spirits and becoming one with an ever greater darkness. This one is Blood Moon Sivir. A newly anointed priestess of the Blood Moon cult, Sivir wields a weapon that is both a killing tool and a key to the hellish mirror world where all demons are born. Slowly but surely, it has merged her twin selves, and now it is no longer clear where the human ends and the monster begins.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
And the short story for this is Trial of the Masks by Jared Rosen, which, like I mentioned, is very Lovecraftian. Like, it's all like, it starts with just Sivir sitting in a small house, grounding herself
In New England.
drinking a cup of tea. She's just drinking a nice rose tea. And it says she does this every day, just over and over again, very routine. And then she sneaks a peek at the corner and sees her blade there. She's like, nope, can't look. And then slowly things start to get weird. She sneaks another glimpse and like ichor starts pouring out of it. And she sees like Pike fishing for monsters from the other side, staring at her. And then she's like, nope, I'm back in the cabin. Everything's normal. I'm just drinking my tea. And then she's...
Put the blade outside.
No, she's tried
It'll
that.
get cold.
She's tried burying it. She's tried throwing it into the ocean. And the next day she wakes up for her tea. It's always in the corner of her room. And she sees like weird things, like they kind of like, they very like what's the word for this? They'll say things like you know, she hears the villagers talking about 2 missing girls, and then much later in the story, she'll just have a memory of, oh yeah, I killed them. That was me. I murdered those 2 girls, and post their bodies in this blood moon ritual for the big demon Aatrox to come out.
Oopsie.
Eventually, you know, it kind of seems like she's really trying to avoid letting whatever the hell is in this blade out. It gets out. She murders the entire village, poses them all fucking with... Actually, they're not all dead. Some of them are still alive, but they're still being posed for this blood moon ritual. And then Aatrox comes out, and he's the big bad, or the big demon she summoned with all this crazy shit.
Okay.
That's cool. That's real cool.
It's cool. It's one of those things where, like, it's... I mean, the way I tell it, it loses all punch. It's told... You know, there's kind of this idea, like in Lovecraftian stories, where like everything is just slightly off until it's not, and it's way more off. But it's like very gradual, and that's kind of how this unrolls. You know, it's very gradual descent to madness type thing.
Dope. I mean, I'll have to read it then. Check it out.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Good job, Jared.
Yeah.
And I got a few fun facts.
Yeah.
All right.
We've just been making like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom character sounds at each other all the time.
Really?
And it was cracking Poppy up last night.
Oh, fuck, I'm sure.
So it's like the more annoying I got, the funnier she was. So if someone we have this, I remember when we talked about making grudge sounds. If someone broke into our house, when someone broke into our house last night, they'd hear me like, ah, yeah, yeah.
Fuck this. I'm going back to the grudge house. At least I knew what was going on. That's funny shit.
Anywho. Sivir's voiced by Alexa Khan.
Nice.
I feel like the way I said that made it sound like her name is a lexicon. It's Alexa space Khan. Pre-rework Sivir was voiced by Rebecca Schweitzer, who also did pre-rework Morgana.
Not me again.
Yeah, not you. Based on the timeline of events, Sivir's probably in her late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, okay.
A normal aged person.
A normal age, because that's closer to our age.
Right. In the 2009 official teaser trailer for League of Legends, as well as in one of the concept arts for her, Sivir has pink hair.
Oh.
Okay. Sure.
And in the founding interns of League of Legends YouTube video uploaded by on the Riot Games channel, concept art for Sivir was shown to depict her with blonde hair and an overall very different visual design.
Like how different? Or like
like
did she still have the boomerang situation going on, or
she still had the boomerang situation going on? So I mean, they had that at least.
I like that. Like the hair color is like, how can we? Which version of Sivir do we like the most? It's like blonde, pink. That's like the only thing they can think to change. I don't know.
Yeah. Those
the
are the
most
girl hair
important
colors.
thing.
Oh, yep, the big three.
Let's see. Sivir is the second champion to feature 2 champion spotlights due to significant gameplay changes. The others are Ezreal, Karma, Katarina, and Lee Sin. And I technically think the Lee Sin one wasn't necessarily due to gameplay changes as much as it was due to the fact that he had an April Fool's champion spotlight.
Yeah.
And man, we've talked about this a lot recently. But Sivir was one of the first 6 champions designed, along with Annie, Lee Sin, Singed, Scion, and Twisted Fate.
That is
It's
weird.
like the last 3 in a row.
Right.
Yeah.
They had 6 champions, and they were like, well, we need... Are there other letters between SI? I don't think there are. Sivir's dance is the arm wave pop and lock move. And that's pretty much it. The rest of it's all about the fun facts about the Chalakar. But that's all the Sivir fun facts.
Nice.
And that be Sivir.
Darby Sivir. Darby Sivir. How we feeling? I feel fairly lukewarm.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't hate this, but like it didn't really rev my engines, I guess.
It was a good characterization of a character who is stuck in stories that she will never be interesting in my opinion.
Yeah.
She's a
right.
fun character who will never get good stories, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly could write them, but it feels so constrained by being tied to fucking. I mean, I've said it many times. Azir and Xerath they're just lodestones around her neck, just dragging her down into the deep. Yeah, it's like the whole
And then
thing.
she'll fight the void.
Who knows, right? But yeah, it's like
She's in Shurima.
I know, right? I don't know. It reminded me a bit of like her being very standoffish and like I don't trust anyone. It's like maybe if we get Rel down in Shurima, those two could be fun to interact because they're like maybe Rel would seem like maybe would like idolize Sivir because Sivir is like that's who I want to be when I grow up, someone who doesn't give a shit about anyone. But I don't know.
She can run into Kaisa too. Kaisa has a very loner vibe as well.
Yeah, that's the thing is there's a lot of people who are kind of like I'm a loner and
It's true.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe Riot can get off their ass and advance the Shurima plot. And if they do that, maybe we'll get a good Sivir
Crazy
story.
talk.
Yeah. Oh well.
I'm so sorry. I am
we
really
boring
tired.
you?
No, Poppy woke up at 6 a.m. That was Sivir. Thank you so much for listening. We have merch now. It's bonfire.com/League of Loreheads. What? Why'd you do that?
No, you'll see.
Oh, the name. There was a name change. Okay, can't wait to. I'm not even gonna look. I want to hear you say it and not know. Yeah, we got some t-shirts, sweatshirts, stuff like that. We have a Twitter. If it's still around, it's circling the drain as far as I know, at Loreheads. And we have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Loreheads. John streams on Saturdays. Yeah, TFT with viewers. He did some 2v2v2v2 on PvE
Yes.
just
That was
yesterday. This last
interesting.
Saturday.
I did very poorly.
I'm really excited. Once that mode's like officially out, I think John and I are for sure going to try it out. And maybe we'll suck and hate it and then we'll never play it again. But we'll see. I am excited to try it.
It'll be fun, I think.
Yeah. We also stream on Mondays, although Mark's coming over on Monday, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Maybe we'll stream together.
Yeah, who knows? We have a YouTube. We post videos of this, although we haven't posted Scion yet. Don't talk about it. It's fine.
It'll probably be up by the time this episode
This
comes
audio.
out. So.
Well, this episode's coming out at midnight.
All right, the pressure's on.
Great. Lay the gauntlet down.
We're recording this very late. John and I had a long week. Anyway, we also have a Discord if you want to get in and chat about the lore or find people to game with. There's a lot of people who game together there now. The link is in the description of this episode. You can find it on Twitch. You can find it on our Twitter. And we have a Patreon. We're going to get together on Monday, tomorrow, and talk about new bonus content. I'm pretty excited. John and I were brainstorming some ideas. So
nice.
I'm pumped to see what we decide, what silly, goofy things we decide to do. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons. Big Man Gnomes, Chloe Things, King of Hearts, Shupa Moustache, The Gooch Slammer, Trideca, and... Yes, Mommy, I am a bad boy that deserves to be punished. Ooh. If you were a citizen in Valkar, I would also request that NASA save you. I'd be unable to do it myself. Zera's pretty strong, but I'd put in a good word for
Why
you.
are you being realistic about this?
Right.
Normally, you're like, one-handed, I would fight the god.
Realistic, setting smart
strong.
goals, right?
Yeah.
Realistic.
Yeah. He
timely.
might have a dehydration cramp. He can't.
The desert's really hot.
It's really hot. I'm thirsty. I want to eat pizza.
Too much pizza.
Please be sure to join us next week for what I imagine is going to be an unbelievably short episode as we talk about the Crystal Vanguard Skarner.